Good morning to all. Welcome back to our history class. Today we shall begin our new topic. Our topic name is the conquest of Bengal. The conquest of Listen, last day we studied about the establishment of a whom? Whose establishment? The establishment of a English East India Company's power. How the English East India Company established their power here, that we discussed last day, isn't it? Yes. But how they, where we stop last day? Where we stop last day? We stopped there when the last day we reached up to the British East India Company. English East India Company started to get their power here. They were established their own trade centers here. Trade centers here with the help of whom? With the help of Mughal emperors. Aurangzeb gave permission to him. No. What was their condition? If East India Company is ready to pay 3,000 rupee per day, he is ready to give Kolkata. Then from there they set up a trade center. That means what was the first intention of coming of Britishers here? What was their intention? Involved in a trade. That was their intention. Then now it leads to the establishment of their power here. Now they are started to establish their political power here. So that they were started to set up a trade center. First they set up a trade center there in a Surat. Then another one Bengal. But the one Siraj-ud-Dawla was against that system now. When the Aurangzeb give a permission to set up a trade center there in a Bengal with an agreement, but Siraj-ud-Dawla was against that agreement. He was against that. That leads to a conflict between Indian rulers. That means Siraj-ud-Dawla and the British East India Company. In this topic, we are going to study about a conquest of Bengal. Then how they conquest Bengal? Through the Battle of Plassey. Through the Battle of Plassey. Listen. Year of Plassey is very important. 1757. 1757. Very important war. Why is it called so? Means Plassey war leads to the establishment of a political power here. Leads to the establishment of Britishers established their political power here. After which war? After Plassey war. That means 1757 up to they ruled our country up to 1947. 1947. That is why this year is very important one. Listen, what was the causes of Plassey war? How the Plassey war was started? Causes of Plassey war. We know that the treaty agreement which is signed by Aurangzeb, it was not at all satisfied to whom? To Siraj-ud-Dawla. He was against that treaty, that agreement. Then that is why the Britishers conspired to replace the Nawab. They were argued for what? Siraj-ud-Dawla was against that. That is why the Britishers argued for what? To replace the existing Nawab. Who was their Nawab at that time? Siraj-ud-Dawla was the Nawab. Then what happened? The company official led by the Robert Clive, they were again and again they were argued for to replace the Nawab. So they were involved in a negotiation, but they were against when the Siraj-ud-Dawla was against the agreement which is signed by the Aurangzeb. Britishers argued for what? Argued for to replace the Nawab. That means to replace the whom? To replace Siraj-ud-Dawla. Then in order to do that, when what they did there, no? They were, Nawab's army was, they were involved in a negotiation. They were involved in a negotiation with the chief commander of a Siraj-ud-Dawla. Chief commander of a Siraj-ud-Dawla. Who was this chief commander of Siraj-ud-Dawla? Anybody has any idea? Mir Jafar. Listen, Mir Jafar. Mir Jafar was a commander of a Siraj-ud-Dawla. What was the intention of the Britishers? To replace the Nawab. So they were involved in a negotiation. Then when the war started, the commander cheated the commander means our Mir Jafar cheated our Siraj-ud-Dawla. Listen, during the time of a Plassey War, what happened when the British army and the Indian army, that means under the control of the Mir Jafar, they were, when they met together at that time, our commander, that means our Mir Jafar cheated the Siraj-ud-Dawla. So what happened? Britishers defeated the Siraj-ud-Dawla's army, or Indian army defeated the Bengal. Now Bengal become under the control of whom? The Britishers. Now Bengal become under the control of a Britishers through a negotiation only. Through a negotiation, what happened? Bengal become under the control of Britishers. Did you get an idea about Plassey War? It was the first war which is defeated by the Britishers. After the after the Plassey War, what happened here? After the Plassey War, Britishers established their political power here. How? By defeating Siraj-ud-Dawla through a cheating. Listen. Then they were English East India Company established their political power here. Then they were up to that time, in order to involve in a trade, Britishers were imported bullion from their country. Instead of importing bullion from their country, they were started to export bullion from Bengal to China. That means they were started, when they established their political power here, they were started to control our country, control our Bengal. Then what happened? They were started to export the things from other countries. Listen. During this time, the Britishers, that means 1765. In 1765, Britishers started a Stamp Act. They were started a Stamp Act. What do you mean by a Stamp Act? Listen, in order to meet their war expenses, they need more and more money. So that in order to meet their war expenses, they were levied a tax upon American colonies. They were levied a tax upon American colonies. That is known as a Stamp Act. To meet the war, they need to spend a lot, no? That is why in 1765 they were started a Stamp Act. Tax was levied upon the American colonies. Listen, I hope you may get an idea about a Plassey War. What is the peculiarity of a Plassey War? It was the first war. With whom? First war with the Britishers. What was the result of the war? Britishers defeated our Siraj Dowla. How they defeated us? Through a cheating. Through a cheating. That means they made a negotiation with the chief commander of a Siraj Dowla. That means who was the chief commander? Mir Qasim was the chief commander of the Siraj Dowla. During the commanding time, he was cheated. So, our army, Siraj Dowla's army surrendered under the Britishers. That caused the defeat of the Plassey War. Why it become a important one means it helps to set up the political power here. Britishers got a chance to set up their political power here. Next one, the Battle of Buxar. Battle of Buxar. Year 1764. 1764. The year is very important one, like our Plassey War. Listen, now after the defeat of Plassey War, the Britishers become they got the power there in Bengal. Then what was the cause of a Buxar War? Listen. First, who was the Nawab when the Siraj Dowla was cheated by Mir Qasim, Mir Jafar? After the defeat, Britishers give a Nawab's position to whom? Nawab's power to whom? Power to Mir Jafar. Now, our Siraj Dowla was defeated and he is put into death. Listen, he is no more. Then what happened? Mir Jafar become the Nawab. Then during the time of a Buxar War, what happened there? Mir Jafar was unable to maintain the financial aspects. He can't maintain the financial aspects of the Britishers. That caused many problems. That caused many problems there in Bengal. So, the Britishers changed whom? Britishers changed the Nawab. Then who become the Nawab? Mir Qasim. Mir Qasim become the Nawab. Mir Qasim become the Nawab of Bengal. Then what he did in order to maintain the financial aspects, what he was, listen, he was also unable to stop the misuses of a free trade. He was, Mir Qasim also unable to stop the misuses of a free trade. So, what he done there means he abolished all the internal duties. All the internal duties are abolished by whom? abolished by Mir Qasim. That was a positive attitude towards our own merchants, our own peasants and merchants. That was by avoiding the internal duties. That was good for our merchants also. But Britishers are not at all ready to continue that one. Then at that time, again when the Mir Qasim abolishes the internal duties, Britishers are not at all ready to agree that one. That means it was favorable to our own merchants also. That is why they were appointed Mir Jafar as their Nawab. Mir Qasim's attitude was not at all favorable to Britishers. That is why they appointed Mir Jafar as their Nawab. Listen, then at that time, when the Mir Qasim lost the power of the Nawab, he went to meet Shuja-ud-Dawla and Shah Alam II. He went to meet whom? Meet the Mughal Emperor Shah Alam II, and he also met with whom? He also meet Shuja-ud-Dawla. With their help, Mir Qasim formed an alliance. Which was against the British rule, which was against the political power of the Britishers. Listen, what was the cause? First, during the time of Plassey War, when the Britishers defeated the Siraj-ud-Dawla, who became the Nawab, Mir Jafar got the position of the Nawab. Then when he was unable to maintain the financial aspects, they were replaced the Nawab, and who became the Nawab at that time? Mir Qasim became the Nawab. In order to meet the financial aspects, what he done? He abolished all the internal duties. And he unable to, because at that time there was the time of free trade was going on there at that time. Then he was unable to stop the misuse of free trade. Instead of that, what he done? He abolishes all the internal duties, which was favorable to Indian merchants also. So the Britishers become very angry. What they did? They replaced the Mir Qasim, and they appointed Mir Jafar as their Nawab. At that time, what happened? Mir Qasim went to meet Mughal Emperor Shah Alam II and Shuja-ud-Dawla. For what purpose? He made an alliance with them in order to fight against the Britishers. In which year? In 1764. That war is known as the Battle of Buxar. Then the combined army was routed by the British army. Listen, the combined army of Shah Alam II and Shuja-ud-Dawla's combined army was routed by whom? Routed by the British army. But after the defeat, they were treated with some respect. After the defeat of our empires, the Britishers treat with some respect. What may be the reason? Can you guess that? Even though they defeated us, they were treated with some respect. What may be the reason? They were afraid of that. If we are making alliances like that, it will lead to the defeat of the Britishers. That is why it will one, it may be negatively affect their political one. It may be negatively affect the political domination of the Britishers. That is why even though they defeated the Indian rulers, they were treated with some respect. Then they were after the defeat of Buxar war, what happened? The Shah Alam II was signed in a Treaty of Allahabad. Treaty of the Allahabad Treaty was signed by whom? Signed by Shah Alam II. What was the demands of the Allahabad Treaty? What was the demands of the Allahabad Treaty? As per Allahabad according to Allahabad Treaty, the Diwani right or the right to revenue collection, the revenue collection right of Bengal, Bihar and Orissa, that was given to whom? Shah Alam II need to give the revenue collection of Bengal, Bihar and Orissa to whom? To Britishers. That was the treaty. Then what was the punishment which got by our Shuja-ud-Dawla? What was the punishment? He need to give a 50 lakh rupee as a war compensation. He need to give a 50 rupee as a war compensation. That was the condition, that was the agreement towards the Shuja-ud-Dawla. Listen. During that period, British residents posted at the court of administration. What happened? What they did? They were posted, the British residents posted at the court. That means they were started to interfere our administration also. After the Buxar war, they were posted, whom a resident was posted in the court. That means that was the clue of indirect administration. By appointing a British resident there in our court, they can involve in our administration aspects also. Listen. First, Britishers reached in India with the intention of trade and commerce. Then slowly they were started to set up a trade centers here. Then through the trade centers they were set up a trade centers through some agreements. Then what was the agreement? The agreement which was signed with Aurangzeb, that was not so good. That is why Siraj-ud-Dawla was against that agreement. He started to protest against that treaty. So during which period? In 1757, the Plassey War was happened. What was the peculiarity of the Plassey War? It was the first war which leads to the political domination of Britishers. It was the first war which leads to the political domination of Britishers in India. Then the war was with whom? Siraj-ud-Dawla and the English East India Company. Siraj-ud-Dawla and then what was the result of the Plassey War? During the time of Plassey War, Mir Jafar, the chief commander of Siraj-ud-Dawla, Mir Jafar was cheated our Siraj-ud-Dawla and he was defeated by the Britishers. Then The Britishers replaced our Siraj-ud-Dawla. Instead of him, they were appointed Mir Jafar as a Nawab of Bengal. Then what happened to our Mir Jafar when he failed to maintain the financial aspects? When he failed to maintain the financial aspects of the Britishers, they changed the Nawab. Instead of Mir Jafar, they were appointed Mir Qasim as the Nawab. Then what he did? That was when our Plassey war is stopped there. Then what happened? When the Mir Qasim became the Nawab. What happened there? He can't control the free flow of trade and commerce. So he abolished all the internal duties, which negatively affect the British trade, Then they were become angry again. They replaced Mir Jafar as their Nawab. At that time, what was happened? Baksar. At that time, what happened? Mir Qasim went to meet whom? Went to meet our Mughal empires, Shah Alam II and Shuja-ud-Dawla. For what purpose? They made an alliance with in order to protest, in order to fought against the Britishers. Then, even though they meet from where? Not from where? Baksar. What was the result? The Britishers, the combined army of the Shah Alam II and Shuja-ud-Dawla, the army was routed by the Britishers. Then, however, what was the attitude towards our rulers? They were show some mercy, some respect. Then after the Baksar war, one treaty was signed, which is known as Allahabad Treaty. Allahabad Treaty was signed with whom? Signed with Shah Alam II. What was the agreement of Allahabad Treaty? According to that treaty, the Diwani right or a revenue collection of the Bengal, Bihar and Orissa. But Bengal, Bihar and Orissa need to give to whom? The Britishers. They got the power of a revenue collection. Then what was the punishment of our Shuja-ud-Dawla? He need to give a 50 lakh rupee as a war compensation. Now, Plassey war and Baksar war is over. I hope all concepts are clear to you. If you have any doubt, you can ask to me. That's all. Thank you. Have a nice day.